Ok, hermosos días. Acabamos de obtener nuestra independencia in 1821. Nada puede salir mal. Oh, the Americans are here. At one point, California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and parts of Wyoming and Colorado were all parts of the Mexican Dominion. Almost 2/3 of Mexico's original territory are now controlled by the United States. The majority of this area was transferred following the Mexican-American War, a 2-year conflict that began in 1846, but had been brewing for some time.
It all started in 1835, when Texas declared independence from Mexico. Texas was a part of Mexico at the time, but its residents, known as Texans, were mostly settlers from the United States and Europe. Texas inhabitants, like many Mexicans, were dissatisfied with their government. Mexico's president, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, has declared himself a dictator by suspending the country's constitution.
Texas claimed independence, and Santa Anna moved rapidly to destroy what is known as the Texas Revolution. The rebels, led by Texas hero Sam Houston, conquered and took Santa Anna after less than a year of combat. They compelled him to sign the Treaty of Velasco, which recognized the Republic of Texas as an independent entity. But Mexico's government refused to accept the treaties, claiming that Santa Anna was coerced into signing.
For the following 10 years, the two countries engaged in border clashes on a daily basis. These disputes, along with Santa Anna's behavior throughout the war, fueled American animosity of Mexico. During the Texas Revolution, Santa Anna's army encircled a few hundred Texans at the Alamo, a military fort. The Texans refused to surrender and were all murdered.
The Alamo became a rallying cry, not only in Texas, but across the country. Then there was the problem of manifest destiny, which many Americans believed meant that the country was supposed to grow all the way to the Pacific Ocean. It was only a matter of time until America's desire to cover the continent collided with the fact that a large portion of it was still held by Mexico. Everything came to a climax in 1845, when the United States welcomed Texas as its 28th state.
President James K. Polk dispatched soldiers to the Rio Grande after learning that the new boundary was being contested. They were led by General and future President Zachary Taylor. Meanwhile, Polk offered Mexico up to $30 million for the territories of California and New Mexico. Mexico declined the offer and dispatched troops to a location immediately over the river of General Taylor's force. Within weeks, violence erupted and the United States Congress declared war. Some, like a young congressman called Abraham Lincoln, opposed the war, but the majority of Americans and Mexicans were ready for a battle.
The Americans planned to take the conflict to Mexico. Generals Taylor and Winfield Scott easily conquered important cities across the country. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo concluded the conflict on February 2nd, 1848. Mexico acknowledged the Texas boundary and surrendered a large area of territory known as the Mexican Cession. In exchange, the United States paid Mexico $15 million and forgave $3 million in debt. 5 years later, the Gadsden Purchase, a $10 million property deal, relocated the Mexican-American boundary to its current location. Mexican officials were too preoccupied with the warring among themselves to negotiate a compromise with America. In any case, the conflict killed tens of thousands of people and irrevocably harmed ties with Mexico. The land also provided America with the base it needed to build its great nation.